CHILLE DECASTRO has a minor update in his Irish demon lawsuit and may end up missing his due date to serve 2 Nevada judges in a pending case. Does he care anymore? Long Island Audit says, "I heard, and people tell me," a lot, and credits that as actual journalism. Will you support him when he makes the jump to politics? The angry vet calls out Regan Benson and others as grifters before making a plea for funding on his own behalf. Does he know the definition of irony? HENDRY says he's the victim of government overreach and that the man is keeping him from getting a job. Would you buy that excuse for $1? Frauditor Troll turns a minor filing in Denver Metro Audits lawsuit against him into a major video. Is he right about proving his case? Plus, we do an editorial in support of Regan Benson? What the beans? I'm your humble newsreader, Pants. You've been missing my dulcet tones as that no-good news writer Jim has been out of action for the past week. I've been missing you, too, and have opened my door and my bed to guests for the week to share my love, my sandwiches, my grape foo young, and, of course, my one and only auditing insanity. Recent actions by Sergeant Brian O'Neill and Detective Chelsea Novotny of the Denver Police Department against YouTuber and activist for the homeless Regan Benson may have shown that there is an actual police conspiracy against Benson. Benson is one of the most flamboyantly aggressive individuals we cover in the First Amendment auditing-related world. She no longer audits in the traditional sense. Instead, she provokes reactions that tend to trigger herself into abusive, dismissive, and outrageous behavior that often does more harm to her cause than good. The YouTuber has no filter. Her voice is shrill. Her social skills are lacking, and most of our audience would rather voluntarily poke their eardrums out than sit through one of her many rant-filled, disjointed, and abusive live streams. Our audience tends to either ignore our reporting about her or only view it when there are no other news stories available to read on our website or watch on our YouTube channel. As one person put it, she's nasty, she's mean, she's abusive, and she's an all-around rotten human being. But in this case, she may be right. When we last left off with Benson, she live-streamed on Friday after what she said was a disastrous day for Sergeant Brian O'Neill of the DPD. His attempt to get a permanent civil protection order against Benson was denied, and the judge in the case ordered the protection order dropped along with the charges of violation of said protection order. Earlier that day, Benson had been in another court with O'Neill in a case where Benson was charged with violating the temporary protection order that had originally prevented Benson from talking about O'Neill in his official capacity as a police officer. O'Neill had Detective Chelsea Novotny write up an official account of an October 8th incident where Benson went to a District 3 Police Command advisory meeting. Benson live-streamed the event and captured herself writing negative things about Sergeant O'Neill on a display intended for praise of the police in the district. At the meeting, she said negative things about O'Neill in his official capacity. She called him a bitch and bitch boy during the live stream and questioned his credibility as an officer and as a human being. According to O'Neill, this action was a violation of the protective order that was in place, and he had Detective Novotny write up a graphic account of what happened, with Judge Barry Schwartz issuing a warrant based on the accusations by O'Neill for the arrest of Benson. The trouble with the scenario is that the protective order that O'Neill had used expired on October 8th, the day of a hearing in the protective order case that had to be postponed due to Benson being in the emergency room for medical issues. Even though the hearing did not take place, the protective order had lapsed, and a new temporary order had been put in place allowing Benson to speak about O'Neill in his official capacity at the District 3 CAB meeting later in the day. O'Neill was informed of the changes, but allegedly persisted in seeking charges against Benson anyway. Neither Detective Novotny nor Judge Schwartz did their due diligence to investigate to see if O'Neill was correct in his assertions about the protective order. Benson was charged with violating an expired protective order and was brought into court on Friday for an initial hearing on the protective order. That hearing was postponed until Monday due to the aforementioned hearing that denied a permanent protective order being scheduled later in the day. Monday's hearing again postponed the outcome of the hearing until November 21st, with the judge handling the case, stating that they did not have time to review the dismissal of any protective order for O'Neill and the order to dismiss the charges against Benson. Benson has stated that she will be filing a lawsuit against O'Neill and the Denver Police Department for harassment based on his actions. She will likely go to trial with the case and receive an eventual settlement from the city of Denver for O'Neill's actions. O'Neill will more than likely face a Citizens Review Board investigation for his actions, but nothing will come of it. He holds too much power within the DPD, and his family ties to the police force have made him an establishment within the system. Detective Novotny will be a non-issue, as her ignorance, at best, is not a crime. Judge Schwartz is another issue. He's already off the bench for what had been labeled as an act of kindness. He set bond for a person down on their luck at $1 and paid the bond out of his own pocket, which resulted in his removal from the bench during the investigation into his actions. Schwartz issuing a warrant based on falsified information while on suspension may bring more light and further investigation into his actions in his official judicial capacity. Out of the three, Schwartz may lose his position if the investigation uncovers unlawful behavior. In the end, in this specific instance, Benson is in the right. She should not have been charged with violating a protective order that was not in place at the time of her alleged violations. The alleged actions by Sergeant O'Neill have cost the city of Denver hundreds of thousands of dollars and will likely cost the city hundreds of thousands more from the civil lawsuit Benson will be filing against them. While we've defended O'Neill from the sheer amount of targeted abuse Benson has demonstrated towards him in the past, the allegations against him are indefensible and indicative of major problems within the Denver Police Department as a whole. As we've stated, Regan Benson is an often abusive, hate-filled individual who has shown to turn off more people than she helps and needlessly escalates situations for her own enjoyment. She is often the epitome of everything wrong with the First Amendment auditing community, but, as all Americans do, she has the right to express her opinions and should not be the subject of what appears to be illegal activity by one individual to silence her. The idea of, "but it's Regan Benson, so it's okay," dehumanizes Benson and justifies immoral and often illegal behavior by the police, and puts us in the position of defending her, as it's not only the correct position, it's the right thing to do. O'Neill is deserving of due process. However, his alleged actions, even with the token justification of "it's just Regan Benson," should result in a suspension from the police force while those allegations are pursued. His behavior has shown that he is currently doing more harm than good in his role at this point. The next hearing to handle Benson's current warrant is scheduled for November 21st. Tuesday's dose of manufactured outrage came as Sean Paul Long Island Audit Reyes went live with his own telecast of the bi-weekly Melbourne, Florida City Council meeting, where he promised big surprises for Melbourne Mayor Paul Elfrey. Reyes started his campaign to oust the longtime mayor earlier this year when he said that he was contacted by the mayor's former sister-in-law and her daughter, along with their attorney. According to the woman, the mayor locked his sister-in-law out of the company that he shared with his brother and abused a company credit card, which Reyes claimed was in his brother's name. Reyes verbally attacked the mayor and was rebuked by citizens in a pre-planned confrontation at a city council meeting that coincided with the night the city council was holding a vote on renaming a city street after the recently assassinated political pundit Charlie Kirk in September. Since then, Reyes has sued the mayor for defamation while making statements that he was told information about the mayor and the mayor's associates that showed that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis would remove Elfrey from office immediately and prosecute Elfrey to the fullest extent of the law. Reyes has also insinuated that the mainstream media is biased with political ties, and that he alone can provide unbiased reporting in the case. As Reyes could not be on scene, Tuesday's broadcast was largely a repeat of old accusations against Elfrey. Those accusations included funneling contracts from Habitat for Humanity to the business he shared with his brother, and actively taking kickbacks from the group. Reyes, a YouTube influencer and self-proclaimed journalist who is approaching 1 million subscribers, called his fans to keep up the pressure on the mayor and Florida officials, and complained bitterly that the mainstream media refused to pick up the story. He also claimed, without proof, that the FBI was investigating Elfrey. Elfrey, as we previously reported, is currently being investigated by Florida Department of Law Enforcement, based on a criminal complaint his former sister-in-law made against him. Reyes played various interviews that the mayor had done for his re-election campaign while he waited for the meeting to get the portion allowing citizens to give feedback to the city council. During this time, he said that when he was in office for an unspecified future position in government, he would eliminate the awards and recognition portion of meetings to focus on his agenda. The YouTuber, much like fellow journalist and influencer Jose "CHILLE DeCastro, has yet to announce which political position he's interested in, where he'll be running, and his platform and agenda. Reyes's surprise for the city council came as Mayor Alfrey's former sister-in-law's attorney used his speaking time to regurgitate Reyes's talking points about the mayor allegedly getting kickbacks from Habitat for Humanity and giving the city council a deadline before he would personally report the mayor to the authorities. The live stream ended with Reyes warning his fans that if the mayor was not indicted of the charges Reyes accused him of, there would be a serious problem. The post office in downtown Wytheville, Virginia, passed an inspection on Tuesday by YouTube sensation and advocate for veterans' needs, Kevin the Angry Vet Soper, as filmed in the facility without confrontation. Soper famously visited the same facility roughly a year ago, where he was confronted by the postmaster general of the facility, who called police on him for filming. This time around, post office employees paid him little to no attention, as he meekly asked if the postmaster was still employed at the facility. When Soper found out that the same postmaster was employed at the facility, but was not currently in the building, he hastily self-toured the rest of the post office before meekly exiting the building. Soper then claimed that he didn't have time in his busy schedule to stay and provoke a confrontation. The YouTuber had earlier explained that he was on the way to a property he owned in Union, South Carolina, to get the property ready for rifle season. As he munched on a gas station hot dog and bemoaned not having GPS in his truck, he attempted to hide his location, as he claimed that both police and the Veterans Administration were tracking his movements. As he had deemed the hot dog to be a low quality, Soper followed up his post office visit with a stop at an area Burger King, where he sat down to address his fans while eating a crispy onion Whopper meal. Soper launched into a disjointed speech about the First Amendment auditing community and went into his standard topics of how he believed that there was not much of a community to be found. He again went into a directly insulting pitch for cash for his The Servicemen and Citizens for American Rights, or SCARS, 501c3 organization, by asking his followers to reconsider sending money to other YouTube personalities, as often the money that was sent did not go where it was intended to go. Soper asked his audience to rethink contributing to campaigns to pay the bond for auditors who were arrested in the course of an audit. He implied that the money was being thrown away, as more often than not, his fellow First Amendment auditors were repeat offenders who would not learn from their mistakes and would constantly need financial assistance with bond. YouTuber REGAN BENSON was directly targeted by Soper, as he implied that Benson was suspect for indirectly implying that her fans should donate $1,000 to go towards the purchase of transcripts in a case she was involved in. The Navy veteran made it clear that he had never had to pay for a transcript of any of the lawsuits he had filed, other than a single case where he was filing an appeal. He questioned Benson's truthfulness and ultimately reminded his fans that they could donate to his own 501c3 as he was trustworthy. Soper reminded his audience that he was correct in describing former cop watcher Christopher Direct D. Ruff as a rat, as Ruff would later go on to question the auditing and cop watching movement. The stream ended with the announcement of a new contest on behalf of SCARS, as Soper was offering $500 to the winner of a contest to design a new wrap for his new SCARS mobile. He said that he was looking for designs that highlighted the name of the group, along with QR codes leading to the SCARS website and donation applications. The wrap should be designed to fit a second-generation Toyota Tundra double cab with 8-foot bed. No terms and conditions were otherwise offered, as Soper moved on to proclaim that the Burger King Crispy Onion Whopper sucked, as he ended the live stream. Tuesday's filing of a joint case management statement and proposed order in Christopher Denver Metro Audits Cordova's lawsuit against Jonathan Frauditor Troll Who Know brought surprises as both sides presented their paths forward in the lawsuit. The statement serves as a precursor to a November 4, 2025 video conference with Judge Virginia K. DiMarchi that is set to be the first meeting of both sides with the court, and to go over issues that both sides are having a case, discuss possible settlements and settling deadlines, hearing dates, and a proposed trial date. Those expecting a speedy trial or a quick resolution to the case will be disappointed, as both sides agreed to a trial date of February 2027, and the first real deadline for discovery in the case coming in late June of 2026. The document provided some news, as it was announced that Cordova, through his attorney, that Randall S. the Unhinged Attorney Newman, Esquire, would be filing an amended complaint on Monday, November 3rd, 2025, which Steve Vondran, the defendant's attorney, has agreed to accept on behalf of his clients. The document also indicates that a second amended complaint will be filed when the U.S. Copyright Office issues the registration of the last of 3 videos at the heart of the case. Who Knows Corporation, 1469663 Canada Incorporated, will now also be named as a defendant in the lawsuit as part of the amended complaints. In the statement of facts, Cordova indicated that Who Know used ripping software in violation of YouTube's terms of service to download his videos to be used as the basis for Who Know's commentary videos. Cordova describes Who Know's channel as providing satirical commentary on his works, but contends that Who Know did not credibly transform his works to comply with the DMCA's fair use doctrine. 3 videos are stated as the basis for the lawsuit, with 2 of the 3 videos having registered copyright, and the third with its registration pending. Cordova alleges that Huno used his work in upwards of 50 more videos without authorization. However, Huno knowingly removed the videos when he purged more than 1,700 works from his Frauditor Troll channel after learning of the legal action against him. Huno countered that all of his works were memes and parodies of Cordova's works and offer commentary on First Amendment auditing. He claimed that it is unfair that Cordova was suing him when Cordova openly allows others to use his work without permission if they provide favorable commentary towards Cordova. The defense claims that there is no evidence of infringement, no use of illegal ripping tools, and that the final product is completely transformative using commentary, memes, and criticism of their activities. The outstanding legal issues were listed as 1. Whether defendants engaged in unlawful circumvention of technological protection measures in violation of 17 U.S.C. Section 1201. 2. Whether defendants' use of plaintiff's copyright video content constitutes fair use under 17 U.S.C. Section 107. 3. Whether defendants' DMCA counter notifications contained material misrepresentations in violation of 17 U.S. Code Section 512F. 4. Whether plaintiff is entitled to damages, injunctive relief, or attorney's fees under the Copyright Act or the DMCA. And 5. Whether plaintiff is the prevailing party to this action and should be awarded attorney fees. Both sides indicated that they were open to mediation after discovery and will be present at the hearing via video with Judge DeMarchi on November 4th, 2025. An update now. On Friday, Huno live-streamed his reaction to the filing and indicated that he was happy that both sides agreed that his site provided satirical commentary on Cordova's videos. He questioned why Cordova would attempt to register the copyright on the third video involved in the lawsuit, as he had proven beyond a doubt that the statute of limitations had expired on registration. Huno said that while he was open to mediation, he would never willingly give any money to Cordova to settle the case, and implied that Cordova instead should be giving him a substantial settlement to make the lawsuit go away. The Canadian YouTuber thanked his fans for their generous contributions and asked them to donate to his legal defense only if they could afford to do so. Huno indicated that he would not comment on the accusations that he used software in violation of YouTube's guidelines to rip Cordova's videos, and that any commentary on the accusation would come in a future filing once Cordova's first amended complaint was filed. Jose "CHILLE DeCastro went live from the West Hollywood Halloween Parade on Friday in celebration of the last day of the month of October, or as the humans celebrate it, the Halloween celebration of candy and mischievousness. DeCastro offered some mischievousness at the start of the week as he announced at the end of a live stream that he had not given up on his Constitution headquarters board game, despite canceling all orders and refunding payments. The sly DeCastro did not indicate what is holding back current production on the game, which was abruptly canceled at the start of October after nearly a year of solid advertising by the diminutive YouTuber. He did receive a treat this week as his ongoing lawsuit against John Irish Demon O'Day is progressing. There was an update this week as to minor scheduling issues in a clerk's notice that was released on Wednesday. Clerk's notice regarding docket 14, plaintiff to file motion for default judgment by January 17th, 2026. Initial case management conference set for November 5th, 2025 is continued to February 4th, 2026 at 10 a.m. before Magistrate Judge Nathaniel M. Cousins. This proceeding will be held via a Zoom webinar. O'Day has effectively dropped out of the defense against the allegations that he hacked DeCastro's Delete Laws YouTube channel a year ago, along with the copyright-related claims. He is presumed guilty of the charges as the case progresses. The Irish YouTuber may respond during the damages portion of the lawsuit, which is otherwise progressing without his input. DeCastro's attorney, that Randall S., the unhinged attorney Newman, Esquire, has indicated that they will be proceeding to file damages with DeCastro's financial information sealed from the public. In public statements, Newman has made it clear that DeCastro has provided him with the statements showing significant damage to DeCastro's brand, based on the multiple adult erotica attacks carried out by O'Day. In another possible trick by DeCastro, Monday is his deadline for service in his $1 million defamation and harassment lawsuit against Josh Abrams, Kate Peter, and Dale Lackluster Hiller. DeCastro had previously asked for and was granted an extension in this lawsuit, claiming that he could not find the addresses of the defendants, though he did email each defendant just days before the service deadline to inform them that they were being sued. In this lawsuit, DeCastro claimed that the views and comments expressed in live streams in August of 2022 and August of 2025 did irreparable harm to his brand. As a direct result of defendants' defamatory statements, plaintiff has suffered A. Reputational harm and loss of professional credibility, B. Decreased viewership and subscriber engagement on digital platforms, C. Loss of potential business opportunities and collaborations, D. Emotional distress, anxiety, and fear of future losses, E. Costs associated with attempting to mitigate the reputational damage, including platform moderation and counter-messaging efforts, F. A verified drop of 402 subscribers occurred on plaintiff's YouTube channel between June 17 and June 20, 2025. See Exhibit 3 YouTube Analytics screenshots following the June 18, 2025 broadcast by defendant Abrams, in which he falsely accused plaintiff of fraudulently purchasing subscribers. This visible public loss in support directly correlates with the reputational harm, diminished credibility, and economic damage tied to reduced audience engagement and monetization. In another trick, DeCastro is currently 2 weeks past the extended deadline to serve multiple Nevada judges in his long-awaited lawsuit to gain vengeance against those who incarcerated him in 2024. As with his defamation case, DeCastro asked for and was granted an extension to serve his lawsuit against the defendants, as he claimed he was unable to properly find their addresses. With one deadline missed and a second quickly approaching, Monday's actions by the YouTuber may determine his devotion to both of these cases as the new year approaches. The start of a new month comes with great joy around these parts, as the cast and crew of the Auditing Insanity Newscast and Really Cool News come together in great delight as we listen to Pants read out the latest win for Sean Paul Long Island Audit Reyes. Reyes has established himself as the survivor in a market that has shrunk considerably over the year, with 16 campaigns going inactive or completely ending since the start of the year. While he's the king of 21 campaigns that are still active, placing multiple times in our ongoing top 10 for the year, the market itself is slowly dying, as the fad of First Amendment auditing itself seems to be out of the mainstream eye these days. More importantly, there hasn't been the need for big campaigns, as most of the auditors that have crowdfunding campaigns have either stopped auditing or curtailed their need for bail as they've changed to less confrontational approaches to police watching or First Amendment auditing. While the market is dire and the economy isn't helping, with the denial of SNAP benefits hurting the country even more to start the month, things are expected to get even worse as winter comes for America. For this week, Tuesday provided one of the only bright spots for the market, as Sean Paul Long Island Audit Reyes pulled in $100 for his Support the Fight Against Tyranny and Corruption Fund, and $25 for his Help Me Fight These Unlawful Charges and Injustice Fund. Wednesday saw the win go to Reyes again, with $50 to his Support the Fight Against Tyranny and Corruption Fund. Then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday being overrun with goose eggs, as the market tanked and no campaigns recorded new donations for the end of October or the start of November. The bad news continued for the market with our overall look at the monthly take for the campaigns we follow, in a pattern that will probably continue until the end of the year. The market couldn't muster a top 5, with only 4 campaigns recorded donations for the month. Fourth place went to Zachary Liberty Troll Cooker and his Support the Fight for Our Constitutional Rights Fund, which took in $79. Third place went to Sean Paul Reyes's Support the Fight Against Tyranny and Corruption Fund, which took in $248 for the month. Our own ongoing expenses title barely made second place with a $250 take. Finally, Reyes wins the month with a $1,809 take for his Help Me Fight These Unlawful Charges and Injustice Fund. The yearly top 10 echoes the monthly results. However, we've included the entire chart in our print version of this article for the month. That chart indicates that $87,776 has come in through donations to campaigns over the past 10 months, with the vast majority of that money going directly to Sean Paul Reyes. For the year, a YouTuber's quest to go to Michael Fraudit Wrangler Kaiser's sentencing fund slips to 10th place, with an overall take of $350 out of a $1,000 goal. It is noted that this fund was discontinued early. Cooker's Support the Fight for Our Constitutional Rights Fund comes in 9th place, standing at $454 for the year out of a $30,000 goal and a $4,379 current total. Reyes's Support Freedom's Stand Against Tyranny Together Fund has a $5,579 total, with $1,000 taken in for the year and a $10,000 goal. Jose "CHILLE DECASTRO" makes his only appearance on this list out of his multiple GoFundMe accounts, taking in $1,680 for the year out of a goal of $5,000. Craig Hendry's To Support Craig's Work Fund has a goal of $4,000, a current total of $7,230, and has taken in $1,949 for the year. Entering the top 5, 5th place goes to Reyes's Support the Fight Against Tyranny and Corruption campaign, which has a goal of $55,000 and has brought in $58,639, with $6,356 of that coming in over the past 10 months. 4th place goes to the discontinued Lane Myers Legal Expenses Give, Send, Go account, which took in $9,107 overall out of a $30,000 goal and $6,458 raised this year. Our own ongoing expenses account is now in 3rd place for the year, taking in $6,755 for the past 10 months out of a $20,000 goal. It currently stands at $12,900 in lifetime funding. Clash with Mao's discontinued Help Secure Legal Representation Fund remains in 2nd place, taking in $6,790 for the year out of a $6,500 goal. Finally, Reyes takes the top spot with his Help Me Fight These Unlawful Charges and Injustice Fund, taking in $55,059 out of a $55,000 goal for the year. Just a reminder that Really Cool News and the Auditing Insanity Newscast is funded from a mix of our YouTube revenue and what we receive from our GoFundMe donations each month. If you'd like to contribute, you can make a direct donation at gofund.me/76D87459. YouTuber and newly declared historical figure Craig Hendry released a produced video on Saturday detailing his fight against the system, his blacklisting from getting a job, and his denial of a recent motion to have charges dismissed against him in Greene County, Indiana. Hendry, who has gone missing from both of his civil lawsuits, as his P.O. Box addresses are proving to be problematic, focused on his dealings with Greene County in the produced video, detailing one of 2 sets of charges. But first, the YouTuber simplified all of his pending charges for his followers at home. According to Hendry, in a graphic displayed during the video, he's facing a level 6 felony out of Sullivan County, Indiana, for intimidation, a Class A misdemeanor out of Greene County for interference, then a Class B misdemeanor in a second case out of Greene County for false informing. His official mycase.in.gov page does have the Class B misdemeanor out of Greene County for making a false complaint about a law enforcement officer. However, his second set of charges in Greene County are actually for resisting law enforcement / obstruction and unlawful encroachment. Hendry's Sullivan County charges do include felony intimidation, but also include a Class B misdemeanor for disorderly conduct and unreasonable noise, and a Class A misdemeanor for refusing to leave emergency incident area. He is set to go to trial on March 10th, 2026 for the Sullivan County charges, November 3rd, 2025 for the Greene County false informing charge, and December 2nd, 2025 for the remaining Greene County charges. Saturday's video focused on the Greene County false informing charge, as HENDRY represented himself at a motion to dismiss hearing on October 30th. According to HENDRY, he knowingly went into the hearing expecting the government conspiracy against him to continue, as the outcome was apparently predetermined. In his account of events, he had a limited time to put on his case and cross-examine the single state witness, as this was a motion to dismiss hearing and not a trial. That state witness was the police chief who arrested him during the incident, if he was 100% sure that his memory of HENDRY's statement was correct. The chief essentially said that nothing is 100%, and HENDRY's demand to strike the testimony of the witness was denied, as it was explained that at a pretrial hearing, statements by the witness are considered to be factual. HENDRY used this ruling to go into a long rant about the government and how his trial was unfair, as the government was putting him on trial for violating the government's rules, and the outcome of the case was predetermined, as he was unwilling to abide by those rules. Enraged, he complained that he served 9 months for charges out of Vermilion County for harassment. In that case, which is currently under appeal, he was the true victim of government overreach. The YouTuber then accused the government of creating burner email accounts to harass him and to send him death threats. He accused that same government of blacklisting him from getting a regular job due to his criminal convictions. He added that he would never bow down and pander to the government, and slept well at night knowing that he told the truth at all times. He thanked his supporters for their financial help and made a plea for help to get the transcripts from the motion to dismiss hearing. The YouTuber said he could not afford the $60 per hour transcription fees that the state was charging for transcription services. The video did nothing to jumpstart HENDRY's presence in the crowdsourcing market, as Sean Paul Long Island Audit Reyes took Sunday's crowdsourcing title with a $55 donation to his Help Me Fight These Unlawful Charges and Injustice Fund. HENDRY's motion to dismiss was denied by the court on Friday. His next pretrial hearing is scheduled for Monday, November 3rd, 2025. We need your help. Both ReallyCoolSite.org's daily newspaper and our daily newscasts are funded by your continuing donations and what we make from our YouTube AdSense revenue each month. If you'd like to contribute to help us keep the lights on, eating, feeding the cats, defending ourselves from lawsuit threats, and writing news stories to feature on both the newspaper and newscast each day, you can do so via a donation to our PayPal, Cash App, or GoFundMe accounts. If you can't afford to contribute, please watch our videos from beginning to end, like, share, subscribe, and comment. You can help by doing next to nothing, and we thank you in advance for pitching in.